everyone, welcome back to my channel. So if you watch me on a weekly basis, you probably know that I haven't done a video in about 3 weeks. A lot of things were happening. It was around Christmas time, and I'm having to move out of the condo that I'm in, and I went through some weird breakup, and so I just had a lot of stuff going on that wasn't necessarily good. It was just all stressful. So I just needed to kind of take a break and regroup. And so what I'm going to do today is bring you to my Colonics appointment that I have to have hydrocolon therapy. A couple of the reasons that I'm doing it is because I've been under an incredible amount of stress for the last couple months, and that can really kind of bind you up. And so I needed to get rid of all the toxic, stuff in my life with regard to people and things, and now I'm gonna try to get all the toxic stuff out of my body, like poop. So today we're gonna do a little poop thing, because it's one of those things where I don't think anybody realizes how toxic it is to not be regular, which I know that I never have been. I've always been kind of struggling with irregularity. And so I think, going in and, getting the hydrocolon therapy is really, really good for you. I did it years ago in my 30s, and I do remember it being kind of uncomfortable, actually very uncomfortable. But there's a woman that just moved into my office building where I do permanent makeup and electrolysis, and so we started bartering, and so I'm going in for my first session, and she said that it's not going to be like what I experienced 15 or 20 years ago. So that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to bring you to my appointment, and hopefully, we can answer any questions that you have about having this done. If you've never had it done before, I have, so I kind of know what to expect. But if you've never had it done before, and you're, once you get into your 50s, like I'm supposed to have had a colonoscopy, which I haven't had. I just keep putting it off and putting it off. And so what I'm going to do is, do a bunch of these, and then maybe have the colonoscopy, and then they can see a little more clearly. So come with me to my appointment, and we'll go through the whole thing together. Okay, so my first question is, if I'm going to go about, if I didn't know you, how would I choose a colon hydrotherapist?
That's a really good question. Colon hydrotherapy is not regulated by any government agencies, and it's not regulated in the state of Arizona. However, that's important. I wish it was, but it's not. Yeah. So therefore, a lot of colon hydrotherapists only have 2 to 3 days of training by the manufacturer of the unit that they use, which is an insufficient amount of training for them to really appropriately apply this therapy, because it is invasive. Okay. So I personally am an IACT certified colon hydrotherapist. That's an international organization that has certain standards of practice. Okay. And so a very intense training. And I've been doing colon hydrotherapy for about 4 years. I've been a wellness practitioner for 8 years. Colon hydrotherapy is always the first thing I recommended to all my wellness clients, because that's really the place to start to restore your health.
Okay, great. So the next question is, what are the benefits of having this done?
The benefits of colon hydrotherapy are detoxification of the colon itself, which, like any plumbing, if you've ever had a plumber come and take a P-trap out of your house, okay, that's a picture, I don't need to explain any more to you. Your colon can actually get that way. It can be filled with biofilms, which then take nutrients from your body and water from your body and become a real burden on your immune system. That's number one. Wow. It also improves your colon's motility, the ability of your colon to release and to move stool regularly. A healthy person should have at least 2 bowel movements a day. 24 to 48 hours from the time you eat your food, it should come out the other end. Colon hydrotherapy can make that happen for you.
Yeah, I'm definitely not okay then.
Most people are not. Most people don't realize how great it is to actually move that regularly.
Right. So since you're constantly moving stuff out of your body, are you losing nutrients by doing that?
With colon hydrotherapy? Yeah. Absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely not. That is one of the myths. Another myth is that it's going to dehydrate you. Actually, the opposite is true. During a session, I'll put up to 25 gallons of water in you, and you're going to absorb about 1.5 quarts of water from the inside out.
Wow, 25 gallons. Yeah. That's crazy. Okay, so when you do this, does it hurt?
You can experience some discomfort, and it
Okay.
depends on the level
Like
of
pressure?
Yeah, constipation that you have.
Sure.
But we have a full intake form that would exclude if you had any condition that was not going to be appropriate for you to have colon hydrotherapy. I would know that before you came, and we wouldn't do that.
Okay.
So you're just going to feel a mild discomfort and a little bit of feeling of gas, pressure,
Okay.
which most people who are constipated have a lot of gas.
Okay. Let's see. How many sessions do you recommend to have, like in the beginning, to kind of like notice the difference and feel light on your feet?
Right.
And
Well, you'll
be
notice.
regular.
Yeah, that's right. You'll notice
energy.
a difference in your first session. Like when you get done today, you're gonna go, "Oh my God, I had no idea I could feel this great." So that I know that's pretty exciting. You're like, "Oh wow, that's amazing."
Like I'm wearing my crop top.
Yeah, that's right. But the important thing to know about how many sessions should you have, it really depends on a person's their health. What's going on with them? How constipated are they? What are their particular health issues? Because as a wellness practitioner, I'm coordinating an overall treatment plan, not just colon hydrotherapy. There are a lot of people that seek out colon hydrotherapy just to get a flat tummy before they have a date.
Oh,
And that's
right.
maybe okay, but if you're really wanting to improve your health, then it's a regular program that you and I would be deciding together what would be best for you.
Okay, so I would assume the healthier you are, the better you eat, the more you exercise, all those kinds of things coming into this, the faster you're going to see a result.
You're going to definitely see results, but the one thing to understand about constipation is it isn't just about diet or exercise. Oftentimes, chronic constipation is actually a deep-seated emotional issue.
Is it
So-
hereditary?
It's not necessarily hereditary, but if in your family, if you come from a family of warriors and holder honors,
Yeah, yeah.
you could be a warrior
My dad.
and holder honor. Yeah, and then the colon's very sensitive, and if you're uptight, your colon's gonna go,
Yeah.
nothing's moving. So I have other modalities to help unwind that, and that's also part of the healing process that I work on with my clients as they have sessions.
Very cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a complicated subject, constipation.
Right, right.
It is.
Okay, well, it sounds like, you gave us a lot of information,
Right.
so now we're gonna get started, and before we do, what we're gonna do is she's gonna kind of show you what she's gonna do, and then I'm gonna go in the other room and get,
Ready
change
to
my
go.
little, Johnny in, but you're not gonna see too much.
Okay, the system that I work on is a closed colon hydrotherapy unit. There's a difference between an open unit and a closed unit, and that's too much to explain today, but this is the unit you want to have your colonics on. It's a very simple mechanism of inflowing water that comes into the body through this small tube. This is the speculum. It gets inserted into the anus, and then we attach the outflow tube to that, like so. And so warm water from the unit that's been triple filtered goes through the small tube into the body, softens up the stool. When you're full and it's time to release, we turn the pressure valve on the unit, and then everything flows out through this tube and down into the septic system. And that's a very simple functioning unit, but very effective.
And
That's it.
from being in my business, I assume everything is disposable, correct?
This is all disposable, one-time use only, and I think that's pretty much
That's
covers the basic function of it.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
we're gonna get going with it.
Okay. So now we're ready to start the session, and we start with a very low amount of pressure, and I'm going to begin to have the water come into your colon.
Okay.
So what I want you to pay attention to as the water's coming in is how much pressure are you feeling as the water fills in. I don't want the pressure to be any higher than a 4 to a 5 on a scale of 1 to 10.
Okay.
So when you're starting to feel pressure around a 4, you're going to let me know. And this might not mean, doesn't really mean anything when you first start, but in a few minutes you'll go, oh, I know what that means now.
Right.
Because you'll begin to feel. And so what I'm doing now is I'm actually massaging your colon. I'm sort of diagnosing that's your transverse colon. This is your cecum over here. If a colon hydrotherapist tells you they can clean all the way to the cecum, you need to not ever go back to them again.
Okay.
You can't actually get that far over because of pressure, hydrostatic pressure. Okay, so you're feeling pretty nicely. I'm going to go ahead and put the pressure up a little bit. And you're just going to breathe nice, even, smooth breath. And when you feel the pressure, You tell me. Kind of getting up there a little bit?
Yeah, a little. It's not bad.
Okay. We're going to go a little bit more. A little higher pressure. So what I'm doing with my hand now is I'm kind of helping the water to wiggle its way up, and now the pressure should be getting up there. And we release. And so it's just a process of rinse and release. It's like soaking a dirty casserole dish. We're going to just put water in, let the water flow out, and the gas. A lot of people will have a lot of gas come out in their beginning of their session, which we can see you are.
Well, I do remember having this done probably 20 years ago, and the practitioner did not do this to my belly while she was doing it.
No, most of them do not.
Yeah, so I think this really helps. 'Cause
Yes.
I remember feeling a good amount of almost like pain.
Right.
Extreme pressure.
Right. And so part of my training is, as a Chin and Song practitioner, is I actually work on internal organs to detoxify them and release any tension or energy that's built up in the belly. So I have a deeper understanding of your internal organs than the average colon hydrotherapist would have.
And they work well in conjunction with each other.
Yes, they do. They're very complementary. So now we're filling again. And so the needle dropped some. That indicates that the water just got moved around some stool or some gas. And nice even breaths. So there are many reasons why people get constipated or have trouble with their bowels. It's a very complicated subject. But one thing's important to know is that your colon has its own enteric nervous system. It operates completely independent from your central nervous system.
Wow.
So, it is a very unique organ. So now we just...
It's independent.
It is completely independent. It is completely independent. Now, I have a quadriplegic client who has absolutely nothing from his spinal cord, and his colon just runs along just fine by itself.
Wow, that's great.
So,
Thank God.
Yeah, there's a really good book out called Your Second Brain by Michael Gershon, a doctor, but I really like to think of it as your first brain. It's that gut feeling.
Yeah.
That's really your true intelligence comes from the colon. And when the colon is disordered, then a lot of the rest of your life will be difficult and challenging. The other thing I say about colon hydrotherapy is it's the only organ you can wash out.
Ah.
So why not do it?
Right.
It just, it makes perfect sense.
Absolutely.
We could clean this out.
Absolutely.
The first people to ever do colon hydrotherapy were the Egyptians. There are actually hieroglyphics showing how they did colon hydrotherapy, or a form of it. And
Wow.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah, very interesting.
So it's got a long history.
Yes, it has a long history, and the medical industry aren't the biggest fans. But I just had a client whose liver had very poor liver enzymes, and her liver was fatty, and she's only in her mid-30s. And in 2 months with colon hydrotherapy, following a wellness protocol, she was able to return her liver enzymes to normal. Her doctor wrote on her test thing, "Wow, I have never seen this happen before. How did you do this?"
Wow.
And she did it by working with me and doing colonics.
Yeah, this is a lot more comfortable than what I've had done in the past by another therapist.
A lot of them just shoot that water in there and then let it go.
Yeah, exactly.
They really don't. It's a problem. The organizations, there's 2 international organizations, but they're not lobbying to have it be required to have a license, like to be nationally board certified, or to have a license from the state to practice where you would have standards of practice.
Right.
They do in cosmetology, they do in massage,
Right.
but colon hydrotherapy is not that way. So it's very important to really investigate the training that
Right.
your colon hydrotherapist has had.
Yep. Well, I'm glad you moved into this office.
Yeah. How about that? A match made in heaven.
Yep.
Okay, so
So we just finished the session and I'm feeling really good.
awesome.
Yeah, it was a lot better experience than what I've had before in the past.
So what made it different from your past experience?
My past experience was very painful.
Okay.
It was an incredible amount of pressure, and she didn't rub my stomach like you do.
You
and
mentioned that
that's-
she had you laying on your side.
Yeah, I was laying on my side.
Which is not the way.
Yeah, and she was
So,
behind me, so
very
she couldn't
odd.
see me cringing.
Right. No way to connect with what your experience is. Because
Right.
she's literally not looking at your face.
Exactly, and I
Right.
wasn't cringing during this, and
Right.
with you rubbing my stomach, it
Mhm.
made it so much more comfortable.
Right. It's very assuring. So generally, I at this point is when I give an aftercare. I'll give you the aftercare sheet.
Okay.
And so after your colon hydrotherapy session, you don't want to eat a big meal
Okay.
for a while. You want to just sort of let things settle. And if you do develop, you may develop some gas because we've kind of ignited your colon to start moving. So you may actually release some more water later on, or you may have some gas. And so just putting like a warm rice bag or like a hot water bottle on your belly if you get any cramping later this evening. But
Okay.
usually that's the most common experience, and some people will get a little bit of cramping afterward.
Okay.
But generally, most everybody feels a boost of energy. You've gotten really hydrated during the session.
Great.
And essentially, I tell my clients, I'm giving you the colon hydrotherapy I want to get.
Right. Right.
So over the years of having so many, and with different colon hydrotherapists, I've really got it down to, I call it the Cadillac of colon hydrotherapy.
Sounds good. It was a great
All right,
experience.
Good to help. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Thanks.
Alrighty.
Bye-bye. So I just got back from my appointment, and it's been about 1 hour since I finished my treatment. And I have to say, I feel really good. I don't feel lethargic. I don't feel, funny at all. I'm not even sore back there. So it was a really, really good experience, and it just makes you feel, so much better about, getting any toxic waste out of you, because that's really what it is. And, you can't, like when she was talking to me throughout the treatment, she was very informative and telling me all the things that were going on and what was happening, and, what all these things can do by staying inside of you over literally years. So it's such a great treatment. I would recommend it to anyone. My gal, Vanessa, is in Scottsdale, Arizona, but she really knows her stuff, and I would definitely recommend her to anyone. So I've made an appointment for next week, so I'm going in next Friday. I'm gonna do 3 or 4 sessions in a row, once a week. And then she said that after that, I could probably do like about once a month. And, and if I'm feeling really good, and she gave me a little diet that I could do, to eat some apples and flaxseed and some goat milk to help me stay regular, along with like probiotics and that sort of thing. So with diet, the things that I'm not already eating, that's supposed to help, and then going to see her. So I would recommend it to anybody. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys learned something from this. I know I did. And that's what all these videos are about. So if you haven't hit that subscribe button, please subscribe. And if you like the video, give me a thumbs up, and we'll see you next week. Thanks so much. Bye.